By day 3, I've realized that Kai's schedule is no schedule at all. Meals are cooked and eaten according to Kai's needs. If he's not ready to go to the gym, it's back to bed, eat another meal, and try again.
A lot of people go sometimes by a schedule, or if they're working with a coach or a trainer, they're going by what the guy tells them. You know, I go basically by what his body tells me. I go according to what his needs are, not, you know, trying to put into a format of what I want him to do. But I do have some theories and ideas, but basically sometimes they go out the window because his body dictates he needs something else.
I have one more workout to catch on tape before I fly back to the East Coast. At the request of the publicity department of the Olympia Committee, I'm asked to get some physique footage to make a promo for the show. That means no sweats. The entire time I've been shooting Kai, he has kept himself covered, but I expected that. From what I know about him, it is his way. Oscar explains.
You know, for us and for him, it's about self-mastery. It's not about, putting trunks on and going to the beach and flexing or walking around with a tank top. But you see him very covered up. You know, like most people who gain a little bit of muscle, they want to go ahead and display it to the world. It's not like that. Some people get a kick of training in a tank top, looking in the silver mirror. Right. It's not that ego for him. There's so much ego in the sport of bodybuilding, and anybody that I work with, whether it's Overkill, Kevin English, Evan Centopani, Desmond Miller, Kai Greene, they don't have that ego that's about them,
At the gym, Kai is clearly reluctant to expose himself this close to a show. However, this is the elite level of bodybuilding, and once again Kai realizes that certain demands must be met. Stripped of his red hoodie, he goes through a shoulder and arm workout for my cameras.
At this level, you're just not bodybuilding just for your own. You have thousands of fans. You represent a supplement company. You always have to think about them as well.
You climb into the trenches of aiming to be a fruitful athlete in this sport, and you aim to receive a certain amount of success and the things that come along with that success.
You gotta be able to give them just enough, and still keep your sanity and still do the work that you have to do, because without them fans, there will be no show. And they want to be able to capture a little bit, get a little bit in the person's life, and but they also understand that kind of too much, it becomes a distraction to the athlete,
You want to, work with and be sought after by people that potentially can help you, help your career. You want to have the top supplements available to you. And all of these things, there are realities that come along with that too.
He appeared, Kai retreats again into his red cocoon. Before we leave, Oscar decides that Kai needs a mini cardio session, an intense 15-minute burn.
4, 3.
The exhausted athlete mounts the gauntlet, a never-ending staircase, and begins his endless climb while Oscar manipulates the controls.
Hold it together, you got it.
Now faster, now slower. Oscar times the intervals. Metabolism even further into fat-burning mode.
You got 9 minutes to go. You can do it. You will do it. Keep it together, man. You're doing great, man. Good. Definitely.
After 3 days of watching Kai struggle through his routines, this is almost more than I can take. This is the worst yet, a torturous stairway to nowhere. Images and words from the past few weeks of shooting begin to pile up and come back to me in a flood. There's something going on here, something I'm missing.
This is where it becomes similar to like a monk in a monastery. Very spiritual.
All the forms that man fashions with his hands must first exist in his thought.
Watching Kai, it seems like he's in a constant state of meditation.
He cannot shape a thing until he has thought that.
He either speaking, and it was.
One of the most decadent places in the world. Nothing great ever comes without a state of meditation. Then it occurs to me. 7 weeks. 7 weeks. Of course. Why didn't I see it before? 7 weeks in the desert is about 40 days and nights in the desert. Suffering amidst temptation. Wow. You know someone else that did that?
Well, I had no clue about drawing biblical parallels at all with the movement out there. I know that it's interesting. See, I didn't see it as suffering, and I didn't set it up in my mind to go suffer anywhere. It may have made look like suffering, but just to get up and do cardio, personally, I don't see it as suffering.
Yeah, 5 seconds to go. That's it.
Number one, I like cardio. I like to train. I love to exercise. I think that to do it under deficit of calories and other things is something that can at times become more difficult naturally on your body, but never did we start out with the negative in mind.
I head back home with over 6 hours of amazing footage stuffed in my pockets, still unsure if this seclusion was the healthiest thing for Kai to do. It will turn out that my concern for Kai is warranted, but not for the reasons I think. Upon arriving home, I continue to monitor Kai's progress in the final weeks leading up to the show. The video clips that are being posted on Muscular Development show Kai in what seems to be an even more fragile state than when I left.
If you believe that your father was a bum and he left you, or your mother wasn't any good, if you believe that your upbringing was substandard and therefore you have to walk around as a refugee, it's a situation for the rest of your life, forever bearing the burden of that experience, then that will be your life. It's like you have to save your own life. Because nobody's going to be able to save it for you. So we have to do what we have to do.
Eventually the updates stop, his forum entries cease, and there is nothing to do but wait for the Olympia.